Hello, welcome to the Bella Infidelity Stories channel, a place where we explore genuine narratives filled with surprising turns. If you find the video enjoyable, please consider subscribing and giving it a thumbs up. It truly supports the growth of our channel. Now let's immerse ourselves in the narrative. A few months back, on a Saturday evening, I found myself at Rick's wedding. Rick and I have shared a friendship for many years, though we weren't the kind of friends who spent every moment together. We would occasionally meet for a beer, discussing work or life, but it wasn't as if we were inseparable. Nevertheless, when he invited me to his wedding, it seemed like the appropriate choice to make. We've shared many experiences, even if our connection hasn't been as strong recently. The wedding may not have been extravagant, but it had its own charm. Rick's affection for his bride was unmistakable, and their enthusiasm for embarking on this new chapter together was evident. The ceremony unfolded seamlessly. The reception buzzed with energy, and guests reveled in the festivities. I didn't plan on being there for long, yet the evening unfolded in such a way that I found myself indulging in more drinks than I had originally intended. I recall being by the bar when I observed the music begin to slow. It was one of those moments when couples began to form for the classic slow dance. Every couple was dancing together, men with their partners, women with their significant others. There sat Megan, Rick's mother, alone at the table. Allow me to share a few insights about Megan. She defies the conventional mold of a mother figure, particularly for someone like me. Though she's in her late 40s, she appears remarkably youthful. She possesses a captivating beauty, exudes friendliness, and radiates warmth, the kind of woman who clearly has a vibrant future ahead of her. However, I had also come to learn that she had been alone for many years. Rick's father departed before Rick's arrival, and she has never entered into another marriage. I had encountered her on several occasions throughout the years, always at events like this, yet our conversations remained minimal. We got along fine. It was simply that our paths rarely intersected. That evening, however, an unexpected realization struck me. Her solitary presence caught my attention, drawing my gaze repeatedly. While others twirled and laughed in pairs, she remained on the sidelines, observing the lively dance floor with a quiet intensity. The emptiness in her gaze was palpable, a haunting reminder that something essential was absent from her life. In that moment, an inexplicable urge surged within me, compelling me to take action. I approached her with purpose. "Hello, would you care to join me for a dance?" I inquired, attempting to keep my tone light. She glanced up at me, her expression revealing a hint of surprise. A moment of silence hung in the air, and for an instant, I feared she might refuse. But then her smile broke through. "Do you really think so?" she inquired, her tone gentle. "Absolutely," I replied, returning the smile. "If I didn't truly mean it, I wouldn't be asking." Initially, there was a sense of discomfort, but as soon as we stepped onto the dance floor, everything changed. As soon as we began to move, the strain that had lingered between us seemed to dissolve. Megan, whom I had always perceived as a self-assured and autonomous individual, appeared to soften in an unexpected manner. She appeared to be shedding all the burdens she'd been holding on to, fully embracing the present. I must admit, my thoughts were primarily focused on ensuring she enjoyed herself. I wasn't attempting to interpret it or consider anything unusual. Yet, there was an undeniable quality in her gaze that evening. It transcended mere gratitude. It was an indescribable feeling, something elusive that I couldn't fully grasp. The final notes lingered in the air, and we remained entwined for a heartbeat longer, savoring the silence as the melody slipped away. "No," she said, gazing up at me with a gentle smile. "That was truly lovely." "Thank you." "No problem at all," I responded with a light chuckle. It was an enjoyable experience. She offered a final smile before turning away and returning to the table. Yet, there was a haunting depth in her gaze. It struck me that I hadn't merely shared a dance with her. I had returned a fragment of her essence, a seemingly trivial act, in the moment. Yet an unsettling sense lingered within me, hinting that this was the beginning of an unforeseen journey. At the time I was unaware, but that dance would alter the course of my life completely. Several days slipped by following the wedding, and existence resumed its familiar routine. I found myself balancing two jobs, navigating through long hours with scarcely any time left for meals or rest. Life can be challenging, yet I've adapted to it. After that night, the wedding faded from my thoughts. I thought it was simply one of those spontaneous instances where you perform a kind act for someone, not anticipating any reward in return. But then, one evening, just as I was ready to collapse onto my couch after a grueling day at work, a message popped up. Megan was the sender. It caught me by surprise. To my surprise, I found her name lighting up my phone screen, leaving me uncertain if she even had my number. "Hello, Adrian. This is Megan. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to express my gratitude once more for that dance. It truly held significant value for me. I was curious if you might be interested in getting together sometime soon, simply to converse." I gazed at the message for a moment, thoughts swirling in my head. What was this regarding? What could have prompted her to contact me? It was utterly perplexing. Honestly, we hardly had any familiarity with one another. Of course, we had our moment on the dance floor, but I never believed it signified anything deeper. Was it merely a fleeting moment in time then? Yet, this persistent sensation in my chest lingered, refusing to let go. Her words carried a profound significance for me. It felt authentic. It seemed intimate. Uncertainty lingered, yet an undeniable curiosity tugged at me. I chose not to dwell on it too much, so I went with a relaxed response. "Hey, Megan. Absolutely no worries. I'm really pleased to hear you liked it. Absolutely, I'm open to meeting. What were you contemplating?" I dispatched the message and bided my time. Before long, she responded, proposing that we gather at a quaint cafe in the heart of downtown. I consented, yet I remained completely in the dark regarding the matter at hand. I arrived at the cafe the following day, slightly ahead of schedule, feeling uncertain about what lay ahead. Megan was already settled at a corner table when I got there. There was something about her appearance that seemed altered. Not at all like the nurturing presence I was accustomed to encountering at Rick's family gatherings. Something had shifted in the way she held herself now. An unexpected transparency, a rawness that had previously escaped my attention. Her smile greeted me, radiating a warmth that instantly made me feel comfortable. "I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me," she remarked as I settled into my seat across from her. "Absolutely no issue whatsoever," I responded, aiming for a relaxed vibe, despite feeling somewhat overwhelmed. We engaged in a delightful conversation about various topics, existence, labor, casual conversation, yet I sensed there was a thought weighing heavily on her. She wasn't merely engaging in casual conversation as if we were old friends reconnecting. She had a profound message lingering beneath the surface. At last, after several moments of uncomfortable quiet, she turned to me with a serious expression. "I've been reflecting on that dance quite a bit," she remarked, her tone gentler than normal. "More than I ought to confess. I realize this may seem unusual, but I simply couldn't shake off the emotions it stirred within me. Perhaps youthful. It felt as if I had been revived, you know." I blinked, momentarily stunned. That took me by surprise. Megan sat there, her gaze fixed on me, anticipating my reply. I found myself at a loss for words. This caught me completely off guard. She hurriedly added, "I didn't intend to make it awkward. It feels like an attempt to retrace steps. Honestly, I'm not quite sure, Adrian. It was as if I had been yearning for this moment for an eternity. You made me feel like I was more than just a parent to Rick, beyond merely being an older woman who has spent years in solitude. Words escaped me in that moment. A part of me felt the urge to dismiss it lightly, crack a joke, and act as if it were nothing significant. Yet, there was another side of me, something unfamiliar, that sensed a peculiar bond, an unforeseen attraction between us. I'm not implying that I anticipate anything or that we ought to take any action regarding it, she added hastily, clearly picking up on my uncertainty. I simply had to express it. For you. I paused for a moment, absorbing her words. A fragment of my mind remained in a state of uncertainty, yet there was an undeniable curiosity blossoming within me. Megan was remarkably candid, revealing her thoughts and feelings in a manner that took me by surprise. The fragility reflected in her gaze was impossible to overlook. I find myself at a loss for words as well. I confessed, uncertain about how to navigate this situation. I'm really thankful you shared that with me. I had no idea it held such significance for you. Her lips curled into a gentle smile, a wave of relief illuminating her features. I appreciate your attention, Adrienne. I found myself uncertain about the direction this was taking, yet for the first time it dawned on me that perhaps this was more than just a chance meeting. Perhaps it was something deeper. Perhaps it marked the onset of an unforeseen journey. The weeks that followed that cafe meeting passed in a haze. I didn't spot Megan immediately, but we traded a few messages back and forth. Just a light conversation, sharing updates on life, and seeing how things are going. Yet, that discussion about weed lingered in my mind. Something had shifted in the atmosphere surrounding us, though I couldn't quite identify what it was. One evening, just a few days after our meeting, I found myself at home, scrolling through social media, when I came across another message for Megan. Her recent messages had been sparse, yet there was something distinct about this one that caught my attention. This one seemed more deliberate. Hello, Adrian. I understand we agreed to take our time, but there's something I really want to bring up. I've been reflecting on our conversation, and I wanted to check in to see if you share those feelings. I would truly enjoy having some more time together, just the two of us. Rest assured, there's no need to feel any pressure. I'm simply curious to explore the possibilities ahead. I found myself sitting there, gazing at my phone for a moment, uncertain of how to reply. I didn't dislike her, not at all. I was completely unsure of my emotions at that moment. A lingering uncertainty resided within me, casting doubt on the unfolding events. A part of me hesitated, filled with fear even. She was the mother of my closest friend. That was the most significant obstacle in my way. What might Rick's perspective be? What might one consider? Yet there was an undeniable attraction that drew me to her. With each encounter and conversation, my sense of connection deepened, and my curiosity grew stronger. I appreciated how she made me feel. Her openness and honesty resonated deeply with me. It was invigorating, an experience I hadn't encountered in ages. I chose to speak my truth to her. I'm uncertain about the direction of this, but I'm receptive to the possibilities. I believe we ought to proceed with caution, just as we discussed. There's no hurry. The message was straightforward, yet it seemed to signify progress. I preferred to take my time and avoid rushing into anything, ensuring that neither of us felt any pressure. I was aware that our actions were far from traditional. Honestly, I was fully aware of the risks involved. Yet, there was an undeniable essence to her, something authentic, that drew me in time and again. Her response came in nearly an instant. That sounds absolutely ideal, Adrian. It's great to see we're aligned. What do you think about getting together again this weekend? Just for a cup of coffee or something similar. I would truly enjoy the opportunity to meet you once more, I concurred. We chose a serene cafe, the very spot where our previous conversations had unfolded. I thought it would be an ideal spot to maintain a relaxed atmosphere. In this place, we are free from judgment. Saturday arrived, and I journeyed to that place. Megan was already at our usual table, exuding a sense of calm, as if she possessed all the time in the world. I encountered a facet of her that was previously unfamiliar, and I discovered that I appreciated it. She had no intention of seeking anyone's approval. She simply embodied her true self. We spent the next couple of hours engaged in conversation. Nothing too heavy, just sharing thoughts about life, work, and all the nuances in between. I maintained a casual atmosphere, yet it was clear that Megan was eager to delve into deeper topics. There were instances when I sensed her gaze upon me in a new light, and it dawned on me that this had evolved beyond a mere casual encounter. An anticipation was brewing within me, and I found myself questioning my preparedness for what was to come. As we sipped the last of our coffee, the mood around us transformed. Megan had transcended her role as merely the mother of my best friend. She was becoming someone I could truly recognize, someone I felt a deeper connection with, and that frightened me. Before I departed, she inhaled deeply and met my gaze. "Adrian," she spoke, her tone gentle yet unwavering. "I understand this is all quite fresh, and I certainly don't want to hurry you, but I want to express how much I truly appreciate the moments we share together. You make me feel like I'm more than just a caregiver or a partner. Your presence acknowledges me in a way that has been absent for quite some time." Her words struck me with an intensity I hadn't anticipated. This level of vulnerability caught me off guard, yet there it stood, unfiltered and authentic. I was at a loss for words, yet I understood that turning a blind eye was not an option. "I enjoy our time together as well, Megan," I replied, making an effort to maintain a calm tone. "I'm pleased we're embarking on this journey, whatever it may be." Her smile was authentic, radiating warmth. She was content with what we had, at least for the moment. And that was the moment I understood. Perhaps it didn't have to be comprehensible to anyone but me. Perhaps it wasn't necessary for me to understand it just yet. What was important was that we were unraveling it, piece by piece. As I strolled away from the cafe that day, a surprising sense of tranquility enveloped me. Uncertainty loomed over me, and the future felt like an uncharted territory. Yet for the first time in ages, a spark of anticipation ignited within me, urging me to discover what lay ahead. Perhaps, just perhaps, taking it slow wasn't such a terrible idea after all. The following weeks unfolded with a sense of calm, presenting both a welcome relief and a subtle challenge. Megan and I maintained a relaxed approach, exchanging texts occasionally and getting together for coffee or lunch, allowing ourselves the space to understand our direction. The rhythm was just right. I wasn't hurrying into anything, yet it seemed as though we were progressing toward something. One evening, after work, I found myself with some free time and chose to connect with Megan. It had been a few days since I last saw her, and despite our laid-back encounters, a persistent curiosity lingered within me about the potential of where this could lead. An idea struck me, a straightforward concept, a meal shared in the evening. It's not an extravagant outing, nothing too grand or lavish, only dinner, just the two of us. I had my doubts about her willingness, but I thought it was worth a shot to ask. "Hi Megan, I sent you a message. How about we go out for dinner tomorrow night, only the two of us? Nothing extravagant, simply an opportunity to connect and converse. What are your thoughts?" I was not anticipating an immediate reply. However, only a few moments later my phone vibrated. "That sounds wonderful," she responded. "What do you think about meeting at that charming Italian restaurant near the park at 7 p.m? The atmosphere is serene, allowing us the perfect opportunity to converse without interruptions." A smile crept across my face as I read the message. It was straightforward and delightful. For some reason, It brought me a sense of comfort that none of our earlier conversations had. This seemed like a progression, an opportunity to explore the potential of this connection. Take your time. Only we remain. The following day at work, my mind lingered on it far more than was necessary. Honestly, I was completely lost in what I was doing. Yet I was certain of one thing. Megan stirred emotions within me that had long been dormant, something genuine, something authentic. She had no need to win my admiration. She embraced her true self without pretending to be younger or more carefree than she actually was. She simply embraced her true self. I discovered that it was more appealing than I had ever anticipated. Upon my arrival at the restaurant, I found Megan already seated there. She appeared utterly at ease, donning a dress that is both understated and refined, nothing too extravagant. She had her hair neatly pulled back, and she appeared utterly satisfied. In that moment, I truly appreciated the beauty of the simplicity in all that we were engaged in. It could have been simple. "Hello, Megan." I offered a greeting, my nerves bubbling beneath the surface, yet I made an effort to appear composed. "Hello, Adrian." She returned the smile. "I'm truly delighted that we were able to make this happen. I have eagerly anticipated it throughout the week." As we settled into our seats, an unmistakable shift in the atmosphere enveloped us. It wasn't the kind of first date you might expect. Butterflies were absent. There will be no uncomfortable pauses. There exists a subtle yet profound connection of comprehension shared between us. It felt cozy, well-known, and for some reason, that was precisely what I required. The dinner unfolded quietly, lacking any notable excitement. We discussed a myriad of topics: existence, kin, the subjects that ignited our enthusiasm, the little details. Megan was a breeze to converse with, and I came to understand the depth of my appreciation for her wisdom. She had endured many challenges. There was a serene quality to her presence that anchored me. As the evening progressed, I began to realize the harmony in our differences. It was evident that she was having a great time. I was as well. As the discussion turned to more intimate subjects, I could feel the shift in her tone, an understated fervor that was previously absent. "I have a question that's been on my mind, Adrian." Megan spoke, her tone gentle yet resolute. "I'm aware we decided to proceed at a measured pace. But do you sense this? What do we share together? I'm aware we've been skirting the issue. However, I must seek clarity. Do you sense that there's something genuine in this?" Her question struck me with an intensity I hadn't anticipated. For a brief instant, I found myself at a loss for words. Finding the right words to express my emotions felt like a daunting task, yet I found it impossible to refute. Something existed. Something genuine existed. "I certainly do," I declared, locking my gaze with hers from across the table. "Lately, it has been on my mind quite a bit. I sense that there's a connection between us. However, I wish to be truthful. With you, this stands apart. I've never ventured into this territory before. I prefer to take my time with it. I want to ensure everything goes smoothly." She inclined her head, a faint smile playing at the edges of her mouth. "It's wonderful to hear that you feel this way. I simply didn't want to continue feigning that everything was nonchalant. For me, it certainly isn't. Your well-being matters to me, Adrian. I believe there's an opportunity here that merits further exploration, should you remain receptive to it." Her words lingered in the atmosphere. For what felt like an eternity, the perfect words eluded me. Yet, after a moment's pause, I realized the words that had to be spoken. "I'm receptive to it, Megan." I finally spoke up. "I simply prefer not to hurry into any decisions, you understand? I wish to savor this process by your side." Her eyes sparkled with instant relief. She extended her hand across the table and grasped mine. It was a modest act, yet it resonated deeply. In that instant, I realized she grasped precisely what I was conveying. We were both in this together, yet we took our time. We were navigating this journey in our own style, at our own rhythm. After we concluded our meal and exited the restaurant, a wave of tranquility washed over me. Uncertainty loomed over the path ahead, yet a compelling sense of curiosity urged me to delve deeper into the unknown. Megan had transcended her role as merely Rick's mum. She was a person I truly held in my heart, and that, in its essence, seemed like a significant advancement. Uncertainty loomed over the horizon, yet I felt an eager anticipation to discover what awaited me. The upcoming months with Megan unfolded in a haze of serene moments, profound discussions, and the uncomplicated happiness that arose from sharing time with someone who genuinely grasped my essence. It wasn't about sweeping actions or unexpected twists of destiny. It revolved around the idea of connection, authentic, genuine, and straightforward connection. It was an unexpected discovery in a location I had never even thought to explore. However, as with all aspects of existence, that flawless and uncomplicated state was not destined to last indefinitely. As time went on, I increasingly recognized the depth of my feelings for Megan. I didn't foresee the gravity of the situation, nor did she. Yet it became evident that we were both committed to this relationship, come what may. One evening, while we relaxed in her living room, casually watching TV and engaging in conversation, she abruptly turned to me, her expression suddenly serious. "Adrian," she murmured, her voice gentle. "It seems we should discuss what this truly is, what we have been working on." My heart raced in an unexpected moment. I understood precisely what she was conveying. We hadn't exactly defined this connection, and I sensed it was inevitable. We could no longer overlook the reality that we were venturing into a realm that could alter everything. We had been maintaining a subtle approach nearly shrouded in mystery, but now it seemed the moment had arrived to face it head-on. "I understand," I said, swallowing hard. "I've been pondering that as well." Megan gazed at me intently, her eyes probing into mine. "Your well-being matters to me, Adrian." "I genuinely do. But I must ask, are you prepared for this? Are you prepared for the implications this could hold for us both?" I inhaled deeply. This question caught me off guard, arriving sooner than I anticipated. The gravity of the situation dawned on me, and I understood that I needed to be truthful, not only with her but also with my own heart. "I can't predict what lies ahead, Megan," I said, my voice firm yet uncertain. "This is a new experience for me, and I'm uncertain about its significance. I genuinely care about you, deeply, and I'm eager to explore where this journey might lead us." A moment of stillness enveloped us, a weighty interlude where words eluded both of us, leaving the air thick with uncertainty. Then Megan reached out and grasped my hand, her fingers radiating warmth and comfort. She required no further expressions. "I believe we've begun something genuine," she murmured, "and perhaps it doesn't need to conform to anyone else's standards. Perhaps there's no need to justify it to anyone." A wave of relief enveloped me. There was a liberating sense of freedom, an absence of constraints that allowed for pure expression without the burden of external validation. It was merely the two of us, and that felt perfect. That seemed sufficient. Thus we pressed on, not with grand proclamations, but through calm, unwavering strides ahead. Our relationship had its flaws. We faced challenges, and there were times I questioned whether I was making the right choices. Yet amidst everything, there was one certainty I held close. Megan and I discovered a bond that felt unique, something we were willing to defend, even if it existed solely between us. In the weeks that ensued, we chose to keep our relationship largely private. Megan remained Rick's mother, and neither of us wished to create any discomfort for him. Yet there were instances, small instances, when we allowed the world to dissolve, leaving only the two of us in our own space. In those moments, a profound sense of tranquility enveloped me, unlike anything I had experienced in quite some time. We lacked all the answers, and perhaps we never would find them. Yet that was of no consequence. What truly counted was our togetherness, creating something fresh, navigating each day as it came. As I strolled out of her home one evening, hand in hand, it dawned on me that this was merely the start of something beautiful. It wasn't a storybook love. It was never about achieving perfection or conforming to anyone's expectations. It was about discovering something genuine. For the first time in ages, I sensed that I had discovered it.